Hello friends, welcome to this video where Donnie and I are going to talk about what is quite possibly the most exciting Dota update that has occurred since we left beta.
Ever?
Like legitimately possibly ever. And what I'm referring to is the update to matchmaking. So our entire channel is based on this premise of everybody wanting to rank up, everybody wanting to skill up and get some higher MMR. And now all of that is going to change. This is very exciting, and we both think it's going to change for the better. So the summary of essentially what Valve has changed.
Yeah, real quick before you get into that, if you guys want to read the full thing, we're not going to read it all out. We're just going to kind of summarize and then talk about it.
Right.
But just go to the blog. It's the most recent post on the Dota 2 blog, and you can read the entire thing. It's pretty long.
Yeah, they have some technical stuff on there, but the summary is pretty simple in my opinion. Basically, they have separated MMR into core MMR and support MMR for some mathematical reasons behind the scenes to make it so that, you know, people who are playing support are... It's something a lot of people have complained about. People have complained about smurfing and account buying and all of these different things. So as a result of that, they have removed party MMR and solo MMR. Now it is just core and support MMR. If you play in a party, you can gain MMR. If you play solo, you can gain MMR. It's all the same. That's probably the more exciting part to me.
My client hasn't changed, by the way. Has yours?
Go to your stats and then click. You'll see that it should say core and support.
No, it still says solo and party. For some reason, my client hasn't updated yet. It's probably rolling out in waves. But,
so
anyway.
So yours hasn't updated, but what it'll say is it'll say core and support, and then when you go into find match, instead of having solo and party, what you'll have is you can queue for 5-role support, 4-role support, off lane, safe lane, mid lane, and it's separated into 2 categories. So if you're queuing for either of the support roles, you're in the top category where you have a different number. If you're queuing for one of the core roles, you're in the bottom category where you have a different number. Your rank will change.
Can you queue for both support and core roles? Probably, right?
I believe so. Yeah, you can.
Because I know you can queue for multiple.
Right, and so you can queue for ranked all pick, and you can queue for captain's mode. So the reason that I'm super excited about this is that I play on a tier 2 Dota team in NA, and I also really enjoy solo queue, and that's where I get most of my practice. So I love this idea. Personally, for me, this is obviously a very biased thing, that I can queue with my team, and I don't need to worry about getting people who don't like me, getting people who don't play certain roles, people who are griefing, because I'm just going to queue with my team every single time. All of the plights.
Nobody dislikes you, though, right? Not one person out there dislikes you. So that's for the vast majority of players. But for Jenkins, every game he plays is just very positive.
I was kind of speaking for other people, but for me, it's like everybody thinks, "Oh, you're the cool Dota alchemy guy. Oh, the ugly one. Oh no, the other guy, the sexy one." Yeah. No, the ugly one's my partner. He's actually ancient.
Right.
But in any case, it's very exciting because basically, I think the high level Dota games are going to be very exciting. It's essentially going to be public scrims.
Yep.
Like, that is fucking amazing. That is so cool. I don't even think we need to scrim anymore. I don't think scrims need to necessarily be a thing. I guess we'll see. But imagine just queuing into JStorm or EG or something like that if you play high level Dota. And then this also inspires people who are playing in the lower brackets to find groups of players that they enjoy playing with and play as a team, which is significantly better and is so much more in line with what real Dota is. Solo queue is honestly bullshit.
It's terrible. Like, it's really, really terrible. And the fact that it's become so important for everybody is kind of like, it's a tragedy for the game, because the game at its core is this amazing 5-person problem-solving puzzle. And when you break it down to like a solo display of your skill and the ability to essentially psychologically like persevere through like garbage, like that,
you have to be a therapist, man.
That's not real Dota.
Therapist. That's not Dota.
No.
I'm so glad that the coaching sessions that I'm going to be doing, I'm not going to need to tell people how to round up their teammates that are belligerently jungling or spam pinging them or destroying bounty runes. You don't need to worry about any of that anymore. The answer is just find a team, play with your friends.
Yep.
Oh, it's amazing.
There's definitely a few things that we do want to talk about, though, because obviously, I mean, when I posted this in Discord, it was a pretty big split, actually. There was a bunch of people who were like, this is great, this is going to be awesome. There was another bunch of people who were like, this is terrible. There's going to be so many people that are just having like their friends smurf on 4K and carry them up to 6K where they actually are. And we're going to have tons of people who are going to be misplaced in their MMR and a bunch of shitty players that are suddenly going to be ranked high. And those players are then going to ruin the game once they're not playing with their friends anymore who are carrying them to that higher MMR. And so I'm curious, I think it's going to be kind of interesting to hear maybe two different perspectives, because obviously you're a high immortal player that's only been playing in these like very selective games. I've been climbing my way higher and higher, but I've played, you know, the gamut of MMRs. And so I have some pretty strong opinions on my view of that, but I want to hear what yours are as far as like whether you think that is going to be possible for a, let's say, a legend player to suddenly be 6K MMR just because he's playing with like a bunch of top 50 players.
So to a degree, I think that Valve in the post mentioned something along the lines of this. They basically called it like statistical noise, where to a certain point, I'm pretty sure you could do that, but not legend to immortal. You know what I mean? Like, right. You wouldn't be able to, if you had a legend on your team and you were queuing 5-stack with 4 other immortals,
you won't.
It would become increasingly difficult to carry in those games. I think the large majority of this is like, number one, they're experimenting.
Yeah.
So that might happen. But number two, they don't seem to think that that's as likely as when matchmaking was first introduced. You know what I mean? I'm assuming they've done some math, they've crunched the numbers, they've looked at all the stats, and with this system and with testing, that would probably not be a huge deal. At the very least, that will probably still be better than smurfing, than boosting, than griefing, than all of these other very negative things that are currently, you know what I mean? It's like a pro and con sort of situation where I think the pros will outweigh the cons.
Yeah, see, the way that I look at it, I mean, okay, and there is some verbiage in here. It says they're going to be working towards other features such as better detection of smurfing and other abusive behaviors as the year progresses. So that's not currently in the patch. So I think for the next couple of months, and they are very clear that this is an experiment, and they even say they're not sure if this is going to make things better, but they think it will. So I think that honestly is like really great transparency from them to just kind of consider that maybe it's not going to make things better. But I think the vast majority of people think it has the potential to drastically improve the quality of the games. And I tend to agree that like there's going to be some noise. You're going to have people who might be like legend suddenly being able to be carried to like divine or something like that by having a bunch of like really high level players who they're friends with, telling them what to do and kind of coaching them. But at the end of the day, is that bad? If they're able to follow instructions?
I was going to say, technically speaking, if you're playing with a bunch of high-ranked players and the MMR is the same between the teams and you're doing fine, doesn't that mean either the guys that are carrying you are too low-rated for their MMR or you deserve it? You know what I mean? Like, it'll even out eventually.
It's like, if anything, it's basically just rewarding you being a good teammate. Like, it's not, I guarantee you that even in pro games, in pro matches, at some point, somebody like Miracle Mindcurl, he's probably like, hey, Kuro, what item should I go? And Kuro's like, you should go this item. And it helps them win the game. Like, does that mean that Mind Control is being carried there by Kuro? It's like, no, he's a good teammate. He's doing what you're supposed to do, which is solve the problem of winning a Dota game as a team. And just because you're a lower ranked player that suddenly gets pulled up to a higher ranked player, and then like, okay, if you queue solo and you're at this higher MMR, maybe you're going to lose some games. But
see,
Who
where it gets
cares?
complicated is what happens if I queue on like Mott Smurf, for example,
Right.
and I carry like Zyori from, I don't know what his rank is. Let's say Zyori's Herald 2. He's probably Herald 3 or something by now, but let's say I carry Zyori from Herald 2 to Divine 2 on a Smurf.
Yeah.
That's cheating.
Definitely.
That's cheating
Definitely.
because my MMR is not included in that. So I think the Smurf detection is going to be quite important for that. But even with that being said, I still think that, once again, going back to the noise thing, that will only be possible to a certain bracket.
Yes.
And it's not as much as people would think.
Yeah, I legitimately think it's impossible for, you know, a 2 or 3K player to be playing successfully in a 6K average game. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, you know,
and the same goes for any you know, difference of like 2 or 3 brackets. You're going to have somebody feel completely out of their element, and it's going to be a disaster because Dota is such a snowballing game in both directions.
Yeah.
So if you have one person mess up like 3 things in a row because you're not meant to be in that bracket, it will have a massive impact, especially if you mess it up versus somebody who is in that bracket and will capitalize on it.
Yep. So there was another thing that I wanted to address, which is that should 5 stacks be able to queue into this matchmaking thing? Because it seems to me...
I like the idea.
I mean, it seems to me that if you are playing as a 5 stack exclusively, you have a massive advantage over everybody else in the ladder. And so, like, for all those people who are out there coming to this video being like, how should I calibrate? Calibrate as a 5 stack of friends and only play 5 stack. If you truly care about having the highest calibration possible right now, you should only calibrate as a 5 stack.
But that's our whole channel, you know? Our whole channel is like, how do you get your number as high as possible? How do you get good at Dota? So my personal plan is I am literally not going to queue with anybody that's not my team. Why would I? Why would I decrease my chances of winning when my entire focus when it comes to matchmaking for the past few years has been to just have the highest chance of winning? You know, I just want to rank up. I want to play with the big boys. So I don't see why I would ever not queue with a team, but that is exciting to me. It's exciting to me that people are going to have to find teams. Like, I was just talking to Ellie before this. I was like, Ellie, you're going to need to find a team to play with, because otherwise, you know, you've been trying so hard to win solo queue. And if you're going to keep trying hard, part of that trying hard is finding a team at this point.
I have a different solution that I think is more, at least to me, makes a little bit more sense.
Guilds?
I think that 5 stack, specifically, if you have a team of 5 people, that should be a different ladder. And it should be a 5v5 ladder with rewards. Like, if you are a top 10 team in your region as a 5 stack, you should get a slot at a qualifier. It should be a way for teams to get to bigger and bigger events.
Dude,
and
maybe this is where this is leading to.
I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be like that, because if I mean, like we said, 5 stacks are going to smash teams of like 2 and 3 that are smashed together. That's just how it is. You know, unless, especially at the higher levels. Especially at the higher levels. Like, you're literally going to have, you know, like you said, JStorm, Alliance are going to be playing against randoms. And, like, this is the open qualifiers all over again. So those people that play as 5 stacks that are pros will be massively higher MMR than everybody else. And that's just how it's going to be. That being said, I also do like the idea that there is the encouraging factor of, like, forming a team, especially even, like, you know, a lot of people like to queue a bunch of games, and when Overwatch first came out, this was something that I really liked about their system, which was that it was super easy to join a team of players, because you'd queue solo, and in that game obviously there's roles as well, and so, like, maybe you have like a really good tank and a healer in your team that are stacked together, and you're playing DPS and you do well and you win a game and everybody's positive. Then they're like, hey, you want to come play with us? And suddenly you're in a 3 stack playing, and you have like half of a team already built with people who know how to play their role. So that's really encouraging to me that you can do that now, where it's like, okay, you support a good carry, you guys have good synergy, you're like, hey, let's go ahead and keep queuing together for the rest of the night, and like, you can just kind of roll off of that. But then I'd like to see that building up to the point where you can maybe finally have a 5 stack and then throw it into a pool of other 5 stacks.
I think the bottom line is we both agree that it would be very advantageous for Valve to introduce more community-based stuff around this system. Just
Yeah.
like possibly guilds, possibly some, I don't know, little, like the MVP vote was a pretty nice addition, I guess, in relation to this. Just anything to put people together in games and create these like groups of players that want to play together. I remember back in the day, back when I first started playing like like at this point, it would be like tier 8 Dota. You know, everybody was so bad back then. But back in that day, it was all about party queue. Everybody was party queuing. You had these different groups of friends. I think like now, like, you know, Discord groups, communities will be great. Like Dota Alchemy, I'm glad we have a lot of people that can play together.
Yeah, for all you
Alchemy.
YouTube people out there, we have a Discord. It's linked in the bottom of every single video, and you should absolutely come join us. Like we have,
if you want to find a stack, we have people of all brackets, and everybody's looking to. I mean, the whole point, once again, of our channel is we're all trying to get better at Dota. So it's a good group of people to play with, and I know you've done the in-houses and stuff, and we know a lot of our community members very well, and most people are like incredibly positive.
Yep.
Super good to play with and to talk to. Good people. You know, we're not Game Leap or something, so we have positive people in our community.
Sure, exactly. Any final thoughts? I know that you have some coaching and stuff to get to soon.
No, that's my rant.
Cool. I guess the last thing that I would say is, I mean, I'm gonna take one for the team. I'm just gonna go ahead and calibrate. Fuck it.
That'll make for some good content, Donnie. I'm not gonna do it. But
It'll make for some good content. I really do like the fact that if you care about a specific type of role, like I've found that supporting is like my thing. That's where I thrive. But maybe I want to play some carry. I can go ahead and just like play some carry and just like meme it around in carry and like see what happens. But I kind of like the idea of potentially allowing more people to get discovered through the system as well. There is some possibility for like, you know, a bunch of good support players to finally like come to the top of the support ladder. Maybe they get picked up by a team for a stack as a stand-in sometime, and that's definitely another path to making it in the Dota scene. So
yeah.
Anyway, let us know what you guys think of this in the comment section below. I'm sure it's going to be a pretty big split. I'm sure some people are going to love this update. Some people are going to hate it. There's going to be a lot of misconceptions about how much this is going to affect people's MMR. And, you know, maybe it's going to end up being a disaster. Who knows? But let us know. We'll see you in another video really soon. Thank you guys, as always, for watching. And good luck in your calibration games, unless you're not going to calibrate because you're a pussy like Jenkins. All right, see ya.